Right now, somewhere in Silicon Valley, a billionaire just spent more money on his cells before breakfast than most people spend on a car. Not on an actual car, to be clear. Not on a watch, not on a yacht, not on a third house he'll visit twice. He spent it on something completely invisible, a few trillion microscopic engines buried deep inside his body that you have genuinely never thought about, unless you were cramming for a biology test, and even then, only briefly. And here's the strange part, he is not alone. Across California, across London, across Dubai, some of the richest people on the planet are quietly funneling fortunes into the exact same target, their mitochondria. Yes, the little jelly bean-shaped things from that poster on your school wall. The powerhouse of the cell. That's the one. That is what they are spending millions on. So the question basically asks itself, why? Why would people who can buy literally anything suddenly become obsessed with something you can't see, can't sell, and can't casually drop into conversation at a dinner party? The answer is weirder than any supplement label. And by the end of this, you'll understand something about energy, money, and aging that almost nobody talks about. Let's start with what these things actually are. Because powerhouse of the cell is doing a lot of heavy lifting for 5 words. Inside your body, right now, there are around 5,000 trillion mitochondria. Not thousand, not million, trillion. Roughly 1,000 crammed into nearly every cell you own, like 1,000 tiny coal furnaces packed into a submarine. Their job is to take the food you eat and the oxygen you breathe and turn it into usable energy. Every heartbeat, every thought, every questionable 2 a.m. decision you've ever made, all of it was paid for by these little engines. Dr. Martin Picard, a scientist at Columbia University who has spent his whole career on them, puts it in a way that sounds almost too dramatic to be real. He says, "You are not actually your body. You are the energy flowing through it. The body is just the car. You're the electricity, and the only real difference between a living person and a very still one on a table isn't the parts. It's whether the engines are still running." Hold that thought. It's the whole key to the billionaires. Here's what the ultra-wealthy worked out before the rest of us. Money can buy almost anything. A bigger house, a private jet, a doctor who answers the phone at 3 a.m. and actually sounds happy about it. But there is exactly one thing money has never been able to buy off the shelf. Energy. Not the word, the real thing. The ability to wake up at 60 and feel the way you did at 30. You can own a private island and still lie in bed like a phone stuck at 4% battery. You can have $1 billion and still watch your sharpness, your drive, your spark slip away one quiet year at a time. And for people whose entire identity is built on winning in time, that is the scariest loss imaginable. It's the one bill that comes due no matter how rich you are. So they went hunting for the source of it, and the trail led straight to the mitochondria. Take Bryan Johnson, the tech founder who sold his company for hundreds of millions. He now reportedly spends around $2 million a year, every year, trying to slow his own aging. Dozens of pills a day, endless testing, a full medical team, orbiting one human body like it's a NASA launch, and the goal underneath nearly all of it? Keep the mitochondria young. He's not the weird exception. He's just the guy doing it with the lights on. And once you notice it, you see it everywhere. There are now private longevity clinics, tucked away in Switzerland and California, that charge tens of thousands of dollars for a single visit, running deep scans of your metabolism and measuring, essentially, how good your body still is at making energy. Doctors like Peter Attia have built entire practices on one simple idea, that the real enemy isn't only disease, it's decline. The slow, quiet fade of the machinery that keeps you running. Somewhere along the way, this became the ultimate flex. Forget the bigger yacht. Forget the rare painting nobody's allowed to touch. The new status symbol is a younger set of mitochondria, which is genuinely hilarious when you remember that a decade ago, most of these people would have guessed a mitochondrian was a type of luxury Italian sports car. So what are they actually buying? This is where it gets good. There's a molecule called NAD+, that your mitochondria need to shuttle energy around the cell. Think of it as the delivery van that carries the fuel. As you age, you run out of vans. So the wealthy inject it, drip it into their veins, and swallow expensive precursors by the fistful. Then there's a trendier one, urolithin A. In a 2022 clinical trial published in JAMA Network Open, older adults who took it for 4 months showed real, measurable improvements in muscle endurance and mitochondrial health. It works by triggering something called mitophagy, which is basically your cell doing a ruthless performance review, firing its laziest, most broken down engines so it can hire fresh ones. Then comes the hardware. Red light panels the mitochondria literally soak up like tiny solar farms, cold plunges, hyperbaric oxygen chambers that cost about as much as a small hatchback, rows of supplements with names that sound like rejected transformers. Some of it is genuinely promising science, some of it is hope with a premium price tag, but every last bit of it points at the same target, squeezing more life out of those 5,000 trillion engines. But here's the part the supplement companies would really prefer you scrolled past. Almost everything the billionaires are chasing, your body already does, for free. No subscription, no medical team. Want more mitochondria? You don't need $2 million, you need to get out of breath. When you exercise hard enough that you're wheezing a little, you're pushing your engines to the red line, and your body responds by building more of them. Go from couch potato to marathon trainee, and you can literally double the mitochondria in your muscles. There is no injection on earth that does that. It's the one gym membership that actually delivers. Want to clear out the broken engines, the exact thing urolithin A is trying to trigger? Your body does that too. Every time you're a bit hungry, skip a meal and your cells quietly Marie Kondo themselves, tossing out the engines that no longer spark joy and building better ones. That's mitophagy again, running inside every human for hundreds of thousands of years. Absolutely free. The cold plunge? Your body already makes heat by burning energy in special mitochondria. The red light? The sun has been beaming at your cells your entire life, free of charge, no wait list. The slightly awkward truth is that the ultra-rich are spending millions on express lane access to biology you were handed at birth for nothing. So why should any of this matter to you? Because the reason it works for them is the same reason it'd work for you. As you age, your mitochondria get less efficient. The energy stops flowing as smoothly like a highway that slowly turns into rush hour traffic. Picard calls this creeping inefficiency energy resistance, and he thinks it sits underneath a shocking amount of everyday misery. The tiredness, the brain fog, even the way stress quietly ages us. Because when you're stressed all the time, your body burns huge amounts of energy bracing for danger that never shows up. Like leaving every light in the house on, all night, for a burglar who was never coming. And it siphons that energy straight from the systems meant to keep you young. It's not the stress that ages you, it's the response to it. And here's the strangest finding of the whole thing. In one study of people's brains after death, the ones who'd reported the greatest sense of purpose in life had the most efficient mitochondria. The energy flowed better in the people who had a reason to get out of bed, which means the very thing the billionaires are burning millions to chase might be shaped, at least partly, by the one thing that has never, ever been for sale: meaning. So let's circle back to that billionaire, spending more on his cells this morning than you spend on rent. He's not crazy. He might have quietly understood something most people never will. That in the end, every fortune, every achievement, every 5-year plan runs on one hidden power source. And it isn't money, it's energy. The simple, unglamorous ability to actually be awake for your own life. The wealthy just figured out where that power comes from, and now they'll pay almost anything to protect it. But here's the twist, not one of them can buy their way out of. You own the exact same engines they do. 5,000 trillion of them, humming inside you right now, powered by how you move, how you eat, how you rest, and the reasons you have to keep going. They're spending millions chasing something your body will hand you for the price of paying attention. So tonight, when you feel that heavy tiredness and reach for one more coffee, pause for a second and remember what the tiredness actually is. It's not weakness. It's a message from the oldest, most valuable engines you will ever own. The only real question is whether, for once, you're going to listen.